Name's Dan, and welcome to day 5 of the Roller Day Challenge. Today, I actually did use a random generator, slightly different one than before, and I'm not taking the exact suggestion, but a general suggestion. It suggests that I built a barn, so that's my plan. But I'm actually going to focus on less of the building and more of the area around it. Because if I look at the buildings from previous episodes, they kind of just look like they've been plonked down with not much reason for their position. So, that's my plan for today. Barns are fairly simple in shape and in idea, so I'm not too worried about that, but it's actually shaping the scenery to the point where I actually don't think I'm going to work with much of a palette today, because I already know I'm going to be using red terracotta and those sorts of blocks just to build up the general idea of the barn, but then I'm going to be expanding out with things like wheat and fences and all that sort of stuff around the area to show that off. So I'm just going to start off by placing down the blocks I'm going to use and getting a general outline of what the barn shape is going to be. Okay, just checking back in. These are the block types I decided to use. The deep slate is going to be for the roof, the red terracotta for the main structure, as you can see, and this for any sort of the quartz stairs, sorry, and just quartz in general for any highlights that I might need around the place. I've put a basic structure of how I want the actual barn to look. It'll be fairly symmetrical. Barns tend to be. Um, I tried to copy the steeper in the first few, like really steep roof, and then it mellows out, but the scale doesn't quite work with it. I tried having sort of something like this, but it'd be way too tall. So I just decided to go with what I've got here, and I think it works well enough. Um, I might try and outline a bit more when I get to the roof, uh, but I'll just continue working on the structure, and probably the next time you see it, it'll be the outside will be done because it's a fairly simple exterior. Okay, so I've pretty much finished off the exterior of the barn. I know this is a pretty big jump, but wasn't that interesting because it's mostly just fairly simple, repetitive block placing. So I did the deep slate tile roof, and that looks quite nice. Put in some. Oh, I missed a bit of grey glass here. Um, so yeah, put some grey glass panes through here, and tried something here with the doors. I was imagining when they're closed, it'll make a sort of X, but with 4x4, that's a bit tough to nail, but it looks good enough. So next, I'm just going to do a quick bit of work on the inside here. Fill it with things like hay bales and perhaps put a couple of animals in here that I'll name tag so they don't despawn. And I'll catch you in a sec once I've put a bit of work into that. Okay, so I've put a fair amount of work into the interior here. Um, so put some end rods up here. I was thinking sort of fluorescent lights was my thought. Lots of animals through here. Had to put some barrier blocks here so the animals stopped jumping over the fences. Um, Chickens, donkeys, horses, cows, and pigs, and just an empty paddock full of hay. But it worked out quite well. But this interior, I think it passes. Now next, I want to fill up a fair amount of this landscape with wheat. I've seen people do this before, and it looks quite nice. So I'm just thinking I might do perhaps around this sort of area, cut it off around here, and sort of a similar circle around, perhaps even go all the way along this front section up to this bit here. Um, that was my thinking. I might not do all of this. This is a fair amount to have to plant, but I will make a start on that. This was a terrible idea. I bit off way more than I could chew with this one. Oh my god. Okay, so you'll probably notice that I drastically lowered the scope of how much wheat I was going to place. I was going to go up to here, and I haven't done most of this section, but that's because this took a long time as it is. So that's a little further than I'm willing to go. But besides that, I think it looks quite nice. With the wheat, I think it fits in quite well with the barn, and it makes the barn look a little bit more like it's actually somewhat sitting in a place it's meant to be, especially when you get a little closer and you see mostly wheat. I think it works out really quite nicely. I left a few spots without wheat in them along here. They turned back into dirt, and I think that makes some sense thematically, because, you know, here's the entrance to the barn. You wouldn't have wheat all the way through here. You'd have some sort of beaten path. But I think that's about it for today's Boulder Day Challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of the build in the comments. And thank you very much.